Hey guys, it's Anne Marie. I'm trying to figure out how to. Oh, should we do host? How do we? I'm just trying to figure this. How to do this. So give me a second. This is the first time I've done this. It's not letting me invite my friend. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to. Why doesn't it allow me? Okay, I did that, but I don't know how to invite her. I don't know how to do this. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to get Lucia on here, you guys. So you have to give me a second. I've never done a live before, and I don't plan shit. So if anybody knows how I can add her, that would be great, and then we can get started. Um, okay, accept. Okay, there we go. I think. Yay! Do we do it?
We did it! Yay!
Yay! How can I do your screen bigger?
Oh, girl, I have no idea.
I don't know either. Okay. Well, that wasn't too hard. They wanted a topic. They wanted me to fill all kinds of stuff out. I was like, I didn't plan this.
I know, right? I've never gone like live on my own platform before, so it's completely new to me. I've always just joined with somebody.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it worked. So,
I
yeah,
know,
because
right?
I've
Yay, here
never
we
done it.
are.
I've never done it either.
How are you today?
It's been a crazy day. I mean, it's been good. Like the eclipse energy, it was amazing. I was outside an hour before it, and it was 99% here in Columbus. And I literally laid on the ground. I watched the whole thing. I didn't use the glasses, and I felt my body vibrating. I thought someone was coming to get me.
Okay,
Let
I
me,
did the same thing. I was outside too. I did not want to be inside like at all yesterday or like really a week before.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I felt like this pull and everything just kept and I was like, "Oh, this is alignment. This feels nice."
It felt great. I mean, I was vibrating. And I was like, "Am I going somewhere?" Like, I was so excited. I was like, "Are we going? Are we going? Can I get my cats?"
Right? Like, let me get my kids
Right,
some snacks for the road for the trip.
right, right. Like I have to take. I'm gonna see if I have to share this. Okay, hold on. I don't know how to share any of this stuff. I don't know how this works. Okay.
I see a share button.
I see the share, and then I was like, "How do we share on TikTok? Or is that even possible?"
Yeah, I think you
Oh,
have to share it to like actual people. I know back in the day when I first started TikTok, it would come up when people went live. It'd say so and so started a live, come join them. And I haven't gotten one of those in probably a good year.
oh, okay.
So I
Yeah,
don't
I don't get the
know.
invites. I mean, I usually get them through my text, or not through my text, but through the messenger thing on the app or whatever. Um, but I don't know. Share, shared the live, encourage more viewers. Okay, I did share the live. It only let me share to Facebook.
I wish it
So
would let to share to Facebook.
yeah, I shared it because I just did a comment about me. I don't know how to do all that shit. Um, anyway, yeah, well, I did a video because I was the woman I'm staying with. I was trying to scare her, and as always, I busted myself out because I laughed so hard because I just know it's going to be the best surprise ever. And then I laugh so hard, I bust myself. So,
What's up, Joe? Joe knows how to do all of the settings on the Facebook. He's the one I
oh, we
normally
should
go
have
live
talked to
with.
Joe first.
We don't plan shit though.
No, I
But
don't. Like,
that's
I don't plan
Flo,
any. I don't. I'm like, why? There's no disappointment.
right? I
I'm just
know
like,
I used to psych myself up about stuff because of social anxiety and whatnot. I'd be like, I'm going to do something at such and such a time. And when the time came, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
Yep.
how do I not do this anymore?
That's how it was my first high doing good tonight. Is it Nate? I gotta get my glasses on. Oh, that's
I
Recovered
guess
Nature.
it
Yeah,
is.
we were on his live, right? We should
Yeah.
talk to you about how to do like this is our first time we've done live, and I didn't know how to invite people in. I didn't know how to share it, stuff like that, like how to promote it, stuff like that. I just, we just do stuff. We don't,
Yeah, how do we make the boxes bigger and stuff?
right?
You're all
I don't
professional.
want to
He's
see
got
my face,
background pictures and shit. And I'm like,
right? People got all kinds of stuff. I'm like, I don't have all that fancy stuff. I don't know how to do all that.
well, me either.
Yeah,
So
I am. When I go out in the like even when I go out in the woods, like it literally when I get in my car, I then determine where I'm going. Like I don't want there to be no plan. I'm like,
that's how
Spirit,
I
which way do
am.
we need to go? I'll be on the freeway. I'm like, oh, this way. And I'm like,
Did you like? I always hated working like jobs where I had to be like at one location for a certain amount of time. It was like prison for me.
yeah. I mean, luckily, most of my jobs, because they've been social work, I'm out in the community a lot. And both of those jobs ended. They were only for the winter season. So I'm now unemployed again. Um, but I've had like two job opportunities that I've actually turned down because I know my spirit now and I know what I can and can't do. But I still
Yes.
volunteer at the open shelter. And I actually grabbed some of the staff there when I noticed they're getting too stressed out. I grab them and take them out back in the alley and make them stare at the sun and take their shoes
It does so much wonders. People
off.
don't realize how much just sitting outside does for the soul, for the body, for the mind, for the energy. It's
Right.
been my refuge through this healing journey for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? My left ear's ringing right now. My
I
left
got
ear just started
headphones in,
ringing
so
as
I
soon
can't
as you
tell if
said
I'm
that.
ringing.
As soon as you said that.
I feel like my gifts have heightened since the eclipse. And I know it's only been like, what, less than 24 hours, but I'm just like, I feel brand new today.
Me too. I feel like I've jumped a timeline or dimension. Like I don't um there was a weight that I felt lifted off me. Like I and I think a part of that's too what I've been through this last year or so is that I mean, not to be like negative, like I just don't give a fuck anymore. It's like there's nothing else that could
Yeah.
happen that hasn't happened. And so now I'm like today when I was offered another job, Spirit told me I would be offered three and I would not take the first two, but I'm still following the process. And there was someone I knew in the community called me and said, hey, I have an opportunity. Will you send me your resume? Well, because I've had so many problems with electronics, phones, I mean, always, I said, I'll send, when I did my resume last time for the warming center, I made sure the staff there had my resume. I said, listen, just keep it on your guys' hard drive. I've known you guys. I know I need to make sure I can get it because every time I save it, it doesn't matter where it's saved, I never can access it. So I go to get it today. And she said, you're not going to believe this. And I was like, this, I bet you I will. She said, they updated our email server like last week and everything from the day before, when I saved my resume from that day till like a week ago, all of her documents were erased. All of them. So my resume was gone. And I sat there and my face was like this. She was like, you're not upset. I go, what's the point of being upset? I said, I knew this was going to happen. I said, so I saved, a couple of my emails somehow. We'll figure it out. But I got to a point where so many things happen that I just don't, not that I don't care. It just like, it just doesn't matter anymore. Like you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I know exactly what you're saying because I'm right there on that same wavelength. Because since I started this healing journey about 2.5 years ago, I've been so damn uncomfortable that being uncomfortable has now become comfortable. So I'm just like, the whole world could just fall to shit and I'll figure it out. It's going to be
Yeah. I just
okay.
light my cigarette if it catches on fire. I'm like, oh, let me just light my cigarette,
Right? I'm
which
like,
kind
shit,
of,
let me get my water, my Diet Coke, and my vape, and we're good.
right.
We're
Right.
good.
Which kind of brings us to energy, which I don't even know. No, is there any, but I don't care. We still talk about because I think it's really good to
Right.
bounce stuff off each other. Going through this journey, how recognizing what our energy was and versus other people's, and you do, and you're like a high level Reiki person, so you understand it way better than I do. I am 49 years old, and I didn't recognize these last couple years, especially this last year or two, that I'm really not depressed. I really don't have anxiety. I really
Oh,
don't want to harm myself. It's like, and as hard as it was to cut people off and to walk away no matter what, even if it meant I was going to be homeless, walking away, like each thing I walked away from, it was like shedding a part of me that I wore so long as an armor that I thought it was me. And it wasn't
hmm.
me. It was the energies around me. And I didn't realize how much that affected my entire life. I have no idea.
Same,
And about the projection
same.
of it.
I was always made out to be like the girl who flew off the handle. Like you never knew what was going to come out of her mouth. And what people didn't realize is when I went to one place, I'd get angry. When I went to another place, I'd be sad or I'd feel suicidal. And I'm like, the hell, I was just at home and I was fine. And now, like, all of a sudden, I have all these feelings. And as a little kid,
Oh,
one, you don't even know how to regulate your emotions. But when your parents think you're fucking crazy, it's
right.
like, what do I do?
I don't ask
So
myself,
my
why did I
whole life,
become
I
an
thought I
addict?
was
I'm like,
crazy
why
until
not?
recently.
Right. Right. And our parents had their own stuff. I would speak for mine. I know you and I have similar stories like that we have. It's like we're soulmate twin flame friends because
Right?
it's like our stories are just like, and I think a lot of us, we all have similar stories about that. But I know I didn't realize that my mom's a narcissist until a year ago when I cut her off, and then she passed recently. I
Hmm.
didn't even realize it, that my whole family was like this, and I was like, wait a minute, all these things I
Yeah.
felt my whole life, like since, like you said, since a child, it was always too much, and I was that one who was always too much of anything, you know what I'm saying, and not enough of that. And then growing up, not realizing that that shit wasn't even my energy. It wasn't even mine.
Yeah. You're picking up on the fucked up people that are around you, and you're just like, and no, the thing is like nobody ever said anything about maybe you're picking up a vibe or that's energy or any kind of direction to help me out. It was just like, this bitch is crazy.
Right. That was the narrative
And then they
that's been
wouldn't even
spun
give
about
me
a lot
like
of us.
therapy.
Right. I mean, listen, when I was in it was my sixth grade summer. I was getting ready to go into it was like the best, supposed to be the best summer because you're going into junior high school, right? Actually, it was going into eighth grade. Oh no, I'm sorry, going to my freshman year is my eighth grade summer. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be like the best summer for that age. My mother's wife came to the last day of school and drove and come to pick me up, and she said, Ann, we gotta go. Your mom's in the hospital. And I'm like, oh shit. So we get to the hospital, and all of a sudden I notice I'm the only one in the room, and these doctors start asking me questions about if I want to hurt myself. My mom put me in
You're
a
like,
mental health ward as an adolescent the whole summer. I got out like 2 days before my freshman year started. She told them I was suicidal. I'm like, they started from an early age. I was like Goodwill Hunting with therapists.
yeah, my parents wouldn't do therapy, but then they tell everybody, well, you don't know what to expect from her. So, I mean, she could just fly off the handle at you, or she could be fine. We just don't know. But then they would never, therapy wasn't a thing. You were shamed for any kind of mental health issue. It didn't exist. And
And
I'm like, well, what the hell do y'all want me to do?
right. So
And then I
do
got
you
with
feel
my
as though your
first husband.
parents, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, say, so do you, because I don't know your family dynamic. So do you think that it was because you were like the black sheep of the family? That's why they started that narrative from an early age about you. So if you ever tried to, because they knew you were this light being, that if you ever would shed light or talk about these things, that people would automatically dismiss you and think, oh, she's crazy, because that's been the narrative about you. Was that kind of,
Yeah, and my parents were very materialistic. So like their career and their image,
oh,
they wanted me to act a certain way and dress a certain way. And from a very young age, I was always really rebellious. So I'm just like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. you
Right.
know, I'm not going to fall suit. And so that was a big like tug of war during middle school and high school is why can't you be more like your brother? Why can't you dress like all the other kids dress? Why do you have to wear your makeup like that? Like that's not cute. And I'm like, but I like it, so fuck you, you know?
Right.
Like I was the rebellious one. They didn't know what to do with me,
Yeah.
but they were none prepared to handle me. And it wasn't until later on that I realized that.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
felt as a kid I was more an adult to my parents than my parents were to me at times.
Yeah.
I helped them through their divorce at 14.
Wow.
I shouldn't have had to do that. I shouldn't have to
No.
tell my mom, you deserve better than him. Please divorce him.
Right. Your brain's not even developed yet. You're like, you don't even,
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
trying,
And
you
I'm
just
just
want
like,
love. You know what I'm saying? You just want
yeah.
love. And
And to talk about my feelings, but even
yeah.
now, my mom is so uncomfortable with feelings.
Wow.
I think she sees more than what she used to, but she's still very indoctrinated. But
Wow.
then I have to think about like my dad was emotionally unavailable. And I know you and I've talked about this before about being attracted to emotionally unavailable men and how detrimental just that part has been.
Right. Right. I didn't even realize that
Because
till
I'm
these
sure
recent
you've got
years. I just
yourself into some
realized that.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
And
because of these emotionally unavailable men we're trying to ask to love us and care for us, and they don't have the capacity to do that.
right. Right. So why wouldn't we be with them? That's why
Hmm.
when I did that little thing on TikTok when it said my next relationship would be a ghost, and I was like, well, of course it would be because because that's emotionally unavailable I could get.
Right? And I noticed with me, like the ones who are emotionally available, I'm not interested in. And I'm like, it was really clear a couple weeks ago when I had this guy messaging me and he's just being so sweet. And I'm just like, ew,
Oh,
I'm not attracted to that. What is wrong with
oh,
me? Like, and the awareness came up that's like, that's your cycle. Like, you got to break it.
yeah.
And I'm
And the
like,
more
yeah,
I think,
but
the more
God,
we
you're going to
love
bring me
ourselves.
somebody I'm physically attracted to and somebody I'm energetically aligned with.
Right.
Have you
Right. And
noticed
that's
that
me.
in dating?
Yeah.
Have you been dating?
I've been celibate for 2.5 years on purpose because of that. Because I
Me
had wanted
too.
to break. I didn't even want. I mean, there was somebody I was kind of interested, but there's a lot of things going on here in the community. We'll just say that. Um, and I I I took that vow of celibacy because I knew that was one of the biggest cycles in my life was me dating emotionally unavailable people, and so I've taken these last couple years to actually become everything that I ever wanted or I thought I wanted in a partner. You know, it's like I want someone who's trustworthy, so I had to become trustworthy. You know, I want someone who is deep in their spirituality and knows who they are. Well, I was like, well, bitch, you gotta be, you gotta get to know yourself. And so that was really hard because I thought it was gonna
Yep.
be really easy. Like, and so, and now I think I'm a little too far on the other side of it. Like, my cutoff game is like quick for like any bullshit. Like, I walked into a place, when I first started the warming center, one of the warming center locations, and this guy kicked his feet up on the count. This isn't a dating thing, but just as example. And he's like, oh, you're just like, he's like, oh, we got another new one in here. Just gonna be like, just like everybody else, like trying to diss me. I literally closed my laptop and walked away and left the building. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not
Yeah, you
dealing with
don't need to deal with
anybody who
that
tries
shit.
to, and even that's not someone who's emotionally unavailable. But I mean, I've gotten so I've been on my own my whole life. But I mean, really, these last 2 years since I've been going from place to place. Well, since I got evicted a year ago, I just been place to place to place, and it like that's why I was kind of saying when we were messaging back and forth. I'm grateful for what the community, the spiritual community did to me here. I'm grateful for what my family did, the people closest to me. I'm grateful that they isolated me because they thought it was going to make me go back to drugs. They thought it was going to make me go back to old behaviors of being negative and being in toxic relationships and being in jobs, killing myself because I didn't know they knew who I was. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who the fuck I was. I didn't know I was this divine, powerful being. And so by me staying stuck though and being sick and stuck, they could harvest that energy off of me. You know what I'm saying? I would be that people
Oh
pleaser.
yeah.
And so I'm so grateful that I was isolated. Like I didn't appreciate it in the beginning because it was all about why does nobody love me? Why doesn't nobody see my value when I have value? And then it was like spirit kept telling me, well, you got to find the value in yourself first, or there's no one's going to find value in you. And it's been a hard process because at every turn, as you know, I had to choose myself. And so I think I'm kind of afraid to date again because I don't want to, you know.
I'm I'm there with you because I've been on the celibacy journey for 2 years. My
Right.
2 year little mark just came up actually the end of March. And there's still a part of me that desires companionship and to be in a
Yeah.
relationship. But the fact that I have nothing healthy or any examples or people that I can go to
Right.
makes me really hesitant about disrupting my peace.
Yeah.
And I've been on the dating sites, which is really weird to date and not be physically intimate because I've
Right.
never done that before. I've always led with the physical intimacy and the lust and
Right.
never really
Exactly.
got to know them until after I'd already slept with them.
Right.
So, um,
Good
I'm
times.
scared, but I feel
Good.
like God is not going to bring me something half-assed after all this. So I've met
No.
men who like I could vibe with, but they're not ready spiritually.
Yeah, they're not
And then
ready
I've
for your
met
level.
dudes that are unavailable. It's just a range of people, and nothing's been like, yep, that's it.
Yeah. I haven't gotten close. Like I'm like
Yeah.
I thought I did here, but I was like, no.
Yeah, I get these little like, maybe this is it. And then it's like, as soon as I say, maybe this is it, God's like, you might want to take a closer look. And when I know, I
Yeah.
get that inkling to take a closer look, I'm like, I don't even want to know what I'm going to find.
Right,
Like,
right. You're like, you know what? No, I'll just walk away. How about I just take this one and head out?
right? Yeah, I'm just going to go now since you said that. So I feel like at this point, God just needs to deliver them via Amazon to my front door.
Right.
Because I'm
Right.
not going to go and get on apps and do all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I always told myself like I would have to meet somebody at a community event that I don't go to because and that's why I know I need to
Exactly.
leave the city eventually. And I know I need to leave my city because it's it's a very big community here and I was a part of it. I was a student of shamanism under this shaman here that's a fake shaman and has everybody bamboozled and fooled like lifetime movie type shit. And it's not for me to navigate that. Like I have no desire to move through those energies. No desire to. Like I saw through everything and I saw all the and I say this lightly, all the evilness and all the things that they've done to people. And but I noticed and that until I started speaking up about it, I got that same type of male energy in my life no matter where I went, even if it was just a friend,
Hmm.
someone who were narcissists. Like there's a lot of these fake spiritualists out here, especially I know. So I mean, it's women too, but the men as well, and they're very well versed in energy. Since we're talking about energy, and
Yeah. And
that's
they
what's kind
play
of
with
kept
that
me away
sacral
because they'll be
energy.
all shiny on TikTok or be all fancy on here, but you meet them in real life and it's just a show. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
they're just
girl,
another
yes.
version of someone that
Yes.
you just healed from, that you just healed from.
I,
I'm like, I was in um a situation where when I had to leave where I was at the working at the designer fashion warehouse and I wasn't making that much money but I was having a good time. But I found spell work under the couch that my cat ate of this woman I was staying with. So I'm like, I got to get out of here. It was really, I did videos about it. It was crazy. Someone in the community offered me their house to come stay. And when I tell you, girl, I went there one night. I woke up. I think I messaged you. I woke up the next day, and as soon as they left to go do something, it was snowing. I packed my cats and left without a word. I was, it was so prevalent what was happening, even though I can't describe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
But
was
you
seeing
know,
if I would continue to make choices out of fear of not having a place to go or not having a job and stay in
I remember that.
situations. Yeah, and stay in
I remember you
situations that weren't
messaging me
healthy. And I
about
was
that.
like, I said, Spirit, and this is, I think this was the moment. I have to be honest. I know this was the moment that my faith was 100% and never shooken after that, because I was like, I can't stay here. This person is doing illegal things. I already know what they're trying to trap me with. I already know what, because of my abilities, I'm not a fake spiritualist. Because of my abilities, I already knew what their plan was. I knew what they were trying to do to me. And I was like, I trust you, Spirit. I didn't care. And that's when I fled and I got a hotel and I started staying in hotels for a while. And I've noticed that, like with energy, that's why I tell people, I said, it's not about if you attract narcissists or you attract people who beat you or whatever it is. It's everything is energy. And until you
Mm-hmm.
heal from certain energies, now I can see them coming. Now I don't stay in them. But until you hear from that, you can't really, in my opinion, again, you know a lot more about energy than I do, but in that sense. But until you hear from that, it's hard. It was hard for me to recognize what things were until I got in the middle of it. And at that moment,
Yep.
I recognized it as soon as I got there. And I was like, Spirit, I trust you. And I didn't, I didn't die. But
Thank
I've noticed
God.
that a lot here in the community, that, and so and that's what made me start studying energy more, about what happened to me here in the community, because I was reading more about energy harvesting and how I didn't know what my energy is, what other
It's
people
a
was. And
real
I noticed when I
thing.
moved away from people, I had all this energy and I was happy. So
Well,
yeah.
you think about us and our journeys, and we both just said it. We didn't know who we were or what we were capable of. And there are so many more people than not that have no idea who they are, what they're capable of, or what their energy, the power, especially of a feminine body energy,
Right.
contains. And when you don't know that, that power is just going out everywhere.
Right.
Anybody can pick it up and attach to you. And
Yep.
then next thing you know, you've got all these attachments, you're drained and feel like shit.
Or you wonder why you can't
Energy
stop thinking
vampires.
about somebody, or you're being pulled to watch their social media all the time. Either or, you know what I'm saying? When they try to pull you in using the energy, like I'm so
And
careful about what I
especially a lot
watch.
of these male healers will use their sacral energy. And I've gotten really keen about this
Mhm.
because I love spiritual talk. I love getting other people's perspectives, their journey. And I like handsome men, don't we
Right.
all?
I mean,
But when I go into a spiritual man's room and he has nothing but women doting over him, my ass is out. I don't care how much information he's great information he's putting out. Why, and you can tell, like I can
right.
read the energy and I'm just like they're all like gushing. You feel the heart energy and the
Yeah.
sacral energy and I'm like, okay, this is too much for me. I gotta go.
Yeah. There's some couple
And
of
it
weirdos
happens
in the
more
community
times than
here like
not.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary. There was one of my the shaman sisters I used, old shaman sister. She was younger. She was like 15 when she started working with my shaman teacher. But she was an adult and she went to this like trans dance at this older guy's house in the community. And she was telling me how like all these things that happened to her, like first he, after the second time, like he inappropriately kissed her, and he's like 30, 40 years older than her. You know what I'm saying? And then I started noticing, um, it's weird how spirit unveils things the weirdest moments, because I'm at this a major event where all these people are at, and all of a sudden a veil slipped off my eyes, and
Hmm.
I wasn't drinking, I haven't smoked weed or nothing, and all of a sudden I saw what they were trying to do to these women. I noticed the women that were around these people may have been women with who they thought were weak, you know what I'm saying, or they may have had not many
Yeah.
family around them, the typical, how they
Get them
people try to get in
isolated
cults.
so you
Yeah,
can
very
control.
isolated. and they may have had an addiction in the past, you know what I'm saying, or kind of not as stable on their feet, or not, again, like you said, not knowing who they are, not knowing their energy, being scared because they're waking up and just reaching out to people they feel safe with, not realizing that they are, here I am, thank you, Spirit, that they're reliving the cycle and they're that they didn't heal from in their family.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, by seeking this out, because that was me. It was me. So that's how I got taken advantage of. Yeah, I didn't heal it. And so, oh God, my right ear's ringing like crazy right now. It was like a hollow. Wow. That's weird. It was like an echo ringing hollow. I'm sorry.
That's
Um,
some information. But we've had a lot of solar flares today.
I
The
don't know, but
Schumann
I didn't know.
resonance
I
has
didn't
been
see. I
going
who wants
off.
to do that? Let me burn this post. That was death. I mean, I've never felt that kind of ringing. It was like a echo hollow. I don't know why echo hollow ringing. That's weird.
Do
But
you get any like random ripping energy? I say ripping energy because I don't know of another way to describe it, but it's similar to the ears ringing, but I'll feel it like running through and I'm like, damn, am I dying? Like, what the hell is going on? And then I feel the energy clear out, and then all of a sudden I feel lighter, and there's usually a ringing of the ear and then downloads.
wow. So do you get like heart palpitation? I mean, my energy's
Yeah,
always
it was
like
like a
this. My
heart
energy's always
palpitation, but
like
it
this.
ripped
That's
all the way
that's
down.
I've never felt that.
Like a
That's
heart attack.
amazing.
And I'm like, I'm
Oh,
way
not
too young to
amazing,
have a
but
heart
okay.
attack.
I'm sorry. I mean, that was amazing, but I'm sorry.
I was just like, am I dying here? Like, God, is this the big one? Like, is this what
Yeah,
it
I've
feels
had
like?
heart
Because I had
palpitations
never
before.
experienced it.
So how do you know? How would one know? This is just a question because I always look at like when I first woke up, was first waking up, my biggest thing was how do I determine this is like 101 for me, but how do I determine what's unhealed trauma and what's my intuition? Like, am I just being paranoid because of what's happened to that? So with the body stuff or the energy thing that you were just talking about, right? How would one know? And I'm just hypothetically would know if someone was throwing evil eye or negative intentions their way, and they can feel like a death spell, 'cause that's happened to me. Versus if it's something spiritual and it's like a download energetically.
Well,
How?
for me, I can tell if it's a spiritual attack. One, because I usually feel waves of energy coming at me, and they're
Okay,
not good, necessarily good energy. But then when I try to find the cord to who it belongs to, because I'm a cord tracer, I'm going to trace the cord
okay,
back because I want to know where it's coming from. And usually I'll get an image of a face, or sometimes I've just seen hands, and I'll know who the people's hands are, and I'm
wow,
like, oh, they're working something, they're doing.
okay,
And
that's
there was
amazing.
a time my perceived twin flame, and he admitted this to me afterwards, did a energy cutting cord on us, and I got into that car accident that broke my neck.
Shut
I
up.
felt that shit for months before it came. I felt this dark cloud just over me for months, and I'm like, what is this? And after the wreck, he had seen what happened, and he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, at that, he didn't even have to tell me what happened. I just energetically knew, and I just started crying, and I said, why would you do that? He's like, because I thought you did black magic on me. And I was like,
They always think that.
I didn't do anything. I love you. Like, all I
I
wanted
didn't
to
know a
do was
cord
love
cutting will
you.
get that serious. He must have, well, he probably was very angry and had a lot of hostility. I mean, that, but I mean,
We met in both of our darknesses.
been
And I
there.
get that there was a lot of things that I probably could have said differently, but I was unhealed and in my trauma. But
Right.
to go into to pay somebody, he didn't do it himself, he paid somebody.
Oh, well, there's that.
And then took the piece of jewelry that I had given him to use it against me. So it was a direct connection to my energy, and it hit. And when it did, the physical manifestation of it was that car accident and a broken neck.
Shut up.
And
Wow.
I would have never known it was him. or anything to do with magic had he not said something. And he didn't
Wow.
really even say what he did, but it was like, I'm sorry. And then the rush of energy
Oh,
came
so
over
yeah,
me,
that's
and
how you knew.
I'm like, why? And then that's when he's like, I thought you did black magic.
Wow.
I mean, like, if I could have picked any man to do black magic on, I would have picked, like, a sexy one. I'm not saying that he's not gorgeous. I think he's absolutely beautiful. But if you're going to pick somebody to do that kind of evil or maliciousness to, wouldn't you pick somebody that's like GQ? I mean,
Well, I
that's
think it's not
my
about the
thought
looks. It's
process.
like, the pain, the anger, the
And I'm
wow.
like, damn, I don't want to trigger somebody to that point anymore. That was scary.
Right. But you're more protected now and you would know. I think your spirit team would be like, hey, that's why anytime if I'm on my way somewhere and all of a sudden I get a nudge not to go a certain place, I don't do it. Like I just like immediately or not go.
Mm-mm.
There's some times spirits like you can't go to work today. I'm like, if I don't go to work today, I don't get paid. Spirits like, oh well, you're not going to work today, and something would have happened. And so,
Yep, exactly. I trust it now where I didn't trust it before. But have you noticed that when you force yourself to like go outside, like you know, like I've got an appointment, I have to go. It's usually always a disaster when you force yourself to do it anyway. So now I'm just like, "Eh."
right,
And I also went through this stage where I would tell people, I'm like, I got a really bad feeling about this person. And everybody's like, oh no, they're great. They're amazing. They're awesome. Like, we all love them. And I'm like, nah, there's something
story of my
really
life.
off about this person. And I would stick around to find out just to like prove my point.
Right.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Yeah. Happens all the time. Yeah. People, well, I've said that about there's certain people like, oh, they've never done that. I've never seen someone do that. I can't believe that. And just minimizing, experiences and stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but I knew, as we all know, that the wheel of fortune always turns. I didn't think, because I don't know
Always.
if, I'm sure you saw the post. I'm not gloating. I was on the front page of the paper here.
I did see that.
Yeah, and on
Congratulations.
2 pages, and then originally it was because the irony of a social worker being in charge of all these warming centers to help, and then for the homeless population, herself is also homeless. The irony, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so, but I didn't think there was going to be that in depth of a story. But I forgot my whole point. I was thinking about what you were talking about because I had a point.
Homelessness is a real thing. And at some point, I don't know what the breaking point is going to be, but I see so many abandoned buildings
Right?
because rent's just so high, people can't afford it,
People
you
can't afford
know?
it. Yeah,
At
yeah.
some point, they're gonna. It just seems unfair to have all of this real estate that's literally just sitting there and nobody is doing anything, you
Right,
know?
and I think
Like, there's.
a lot of it too is everything but what we pay people or how to live is going up, except people's. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Hey,
right.
there was
But
this
I
little
think,
kid.
oh, that was my point. So by them, I didn't think the tables turning. I didn't think the wheel going in my favor and my story finally, because that's a small piece, because I was illegally evicted. And that was the whole point I was talking about the story. This is what the story they was telling about. I was illegally evicted. The backstory was that everything was going fine at my rental place. I've been there for 2 years. Everything was going great. And then when I started to uncover things in the community and my gifts started coming, everything started blowing up and I stepped away and I became real powerful. My rental place was bought out by another management company. That management company was the cousin company of my old shaman teacher because they have tons of property here. And all of a
Mm,
sudden, I was getting sick in the place. It was flooding. They evicted me. Even when I paid like a portion of my rent because they tried to raise it. But that was like the backstory of it. And so it was like spirit will show us and tell us that, whatever it is that we're seeking justice on, whatever it is, that when we don't force the energy, when we go with the flow, when I used to be the
Okay.
person who had to justify everything I did because no one ever believed me. You know, is how that is. No one believed you. You were that, always crying wolf, which wasn't true. No one would listen. And so most of my life, I felt like I had to justify all my choices. And this healing journey has taught me is that I don't need to explain myself to anybody. Everybody can all,
Nope.
excuse my language, everybody can go suck a dick for all I care. Like I know who I am now. I know who I am. So when the story came out, it was just a bless you, Galaxy. Um, it was just a part of turning that energy and changing, you know what I'm saying, and changing the wheel of fortune. Because now that piece is brought out, the narratives that have been spread that have ruined my career here, that have done all these things here, the truth is finally coming. And so, I kind of want to stay on topic about the energy, but and so it kind of forced me to really look at. I lost my train of thought again, so it must have been a lie. So I'm gonna let it go. When Galaxy sneezed, it knocked
It'll
me
come
off.
back.
Yeah, it'll come back. But yeah. So, what do you think the biggest? I'm trying to figure the question. The biggest lesson that you've learned about what's your energy and what's other people's energy and how it affects, people.
When we started talking about what we were going to discuss tonight, I kind of have went back so many times. I feel like I've always been very sensitive since I've been born, but it wasn't until I got with my first husband who was also very intuitive. He's the one that taught me how to program crystals and kind of got me in to a place of spirituality and not so much religion. And he had this innate ability, and he would always tell me, your mom's going to call, and a few seconds later my mom called, or so and so's going to call, or so and so's going to stop by the house today, I just want to let you know. And I'm like, how the hell do you know this stuff? And he's
Right.
like, I don't know, I just know.
Good
Hi.
evening. Hi.
um and so he taught me how to like trace the lines back. And I realized that's when I started astral projecting, because you have to astral project to trace the line.
Right.
And so then from that point, it wasn't until much later on that I went through the celibacy journey.
Hmm.
And I started noticing, like, I would think about people, and as soon as I would think about them, they would comment on something online, or they would call, or I would run into them. And I'm like, there's something to this.
Right.
There's way more to this. And it was really in deep meditation that I could start like seeing the faces. So
That's
now I get
amazing.
like this holographic like image when I know somebody's thinking about me. Even if somebody comments like on a social media post, I'll get a picture of their face, and if it's something funny, I can feel their laugh, like ha ha ha.
That's amazing.
And a lot of people get creeped out by it though,
Well, of course
because they're
not
like,
me,
I
because
don't
I'm
want
like,
you
well, that's
all
so
up in my
cool.
space. And I'm
But I
like, it's
get it.
not really like that, because I can't really. Sometimes I can, depending on how the telepathy is. I can have a full
Right.
conversation with somebody, and then I'm like, you talk about the same thing the next time you talk, and you're like, okay, that's my confirmation that really happened.
Right. Right.
But yeah, a lot of people get scared.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
had
mean,
one
they
ex who
fear
was
what they don't
terrified.
know and what we've been told. Like, I mean, well, people just fear what they don't know. And, a lot of people are still, I mean, most of the people are still in the matrix and still believe in a lot of false narratives that have been spun for Evon. So they're going to be, they're going to be scared. Like it, a lot of people, did what they did to me because they thought, like you said, they thought I did spell work on them just by prophesizing stuff, just by saying, be careful, blah, blah, blah. If you still stay in this is what's going to happen. Me just being, I'm just trying to help you out, And it's for me, it's like, it's weird because I see the faces in the dream, but for me, it's like a knowing. It's just like, it's weird. It's like I automatically know. And for the longest time, I thought I was crazy because I'm like, how would anybody just know this? And then the more I got confirmations, the people who weren't mad at me, because I started to feel for a while. That's why I still kind of hid those gifts, because I thought by me prophesizing that I was the one manifesting it. I was so even though I knew logically that doesn't make any sense, that it's a knowing, but I thought I was making it happen by speaking it out loud because we are powerful manifestors, right? And so
We are.
it terrified me, and so for the longest time, I didn't tell anybody because they not only got scared, they had started doing shit to me, like. And it's just the knowing for me. I think that's really cool that you can like trace back the chords and see the faces. That's neat.
And I would have never like done that had my ex not said. I'm like, how do you do that? Because I just have always been fascinated by the mystics.
Right.
I remember going to like places where there were tarot readers as a little girl, and like, wow, I want to be like that. Like, I want to
Right.
be just like that.
Right.
I always think I knew deep down that's who I was.
Yep.
And no matter how much they tried to tell me that's not real, just questioning it in the church that I grew up in, you're
Right.
going to hell.
Right.
I've been told I'm going to hell
Shaking
so many
hands.
times, and I'm like, honey, I've already been there. I have a room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I've graduated up now. We've been
Right.
there, done
My
that,
name's on the door.
right? Like, they know me down there. You know what I'm saying? But they also know me up here too. So let's talk about that because that's where we're at now.
Right.
And I watched this program about a cult, and I didn't realize how easily some people don't have that innate trust in their intuition. They'll get a gut feeling and just ignore it and ignore it and ignore it and never put those pieces together. I watched this documentary, and these people are so indoctrinated. They
Right.
don't have, it's so limited in their belief system that they just fall victim. And like you said, if you don't control your energy, somebody else is controlling it for
Well,
you.
I didn't know I was a victim of it. I Because my mindset of a cult was, we saw back, I'm 49, back in the day when you saw these people like took the drink to, in their lives, or you'd see all these people wearing white
Yeah,
sheets. I mean, that was my framework of like a cult. I didn't realize that I was part of it. Like
me either.
I was just like, but then when like the cycles, thank you, Spirit. Well, I love you, Spirit. When the cycles started to show, I'm like, this is reminding me of my mother, like this, or this is like very narcissistic. I
Mhm.
feel like I'm being a triangulation. You're supposed to be my teacher. Why are you putting me in the middle with the other students? And it was like, but from a young age, I can only speak for me that I always saw things, but I was taken to the church and had holy water thrown on me and told that what I was seeing wasn't real. And so it took me to
Mhm.
late in my adult life to finally, once I lost everything, it took that, like, well, I have nothing to lose now. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. They've thought that since day one. It took to my late in life to actually, because I rarely listened to my intuition, not even, maybe half the time, if that, but I would always second guess it, or I would make myself small. So I was like one of those people, and it was unhealed childhood trauma.
Yep.
It
I
was
got into so many situations as a kid that I know that divine was looking out for me because
Yeah.
I would ignore my intuition. I would be in trap houses. I
Girl,
had no
yes,
business being
girl.
in trap houses at 15. The hell was
Damn.
wrong with me? Like, how was I not dead?
Right.
And my gut, I remember now as clear as day, my gut would hurt so bad. And I'm like, I must have just ate something. No, it's because you're in a trap house and you're
Right.
15
It's
years
because
old
you're around a
and
bunch
you
of
have no
demons,
business
right?
being there.
People
Get the
with
hell out of there.
attachments to energy.
My ancestors probably are like, this bitch, finally, she gets it. Finally.
Right. I swear to God, I think my spirit team, my ancestors, like, we weren't expecting her to do this well.
Right?
These last 2 years, I'm like, I've been on it.
I have too. I finally got to a point where it's like I was sick of my own shit and my own cycles, and I didn't realize they were even cycles at that point. I just knew I was
Right.
sick of living the way that I was,
Right.
and something had to change. And then I went through that same process where, like, God's like, you got to leave the men alone. Those men are no good for you right now. You got to love
Right.
yourself first. Then, once you love you, we'll talk about some other people entering your life.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
still waiting.
Right. Right. You're not, you're
So wait,
marinating. You're not waiting, you're
I
marinating.
am. I'm seasoning. I'm
Yeah.
marinating and
You're seasoned. You're not waiting.
basking.
And it took me
I
like,
didn't think it was going to be this long of a process, though. Honestly.
I didn't think it was going to be this hard, just in general. Like, I did not expect. I'm grateful for this journey, but um, well, one, I never thought that I could love myself the way that I love myself. I never even knew that kind of love existed. I've never experienced love the way I love myself and the way I trust the divine now. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, especially when I talk about the divine like that, that's never been me. I mean, I've always been connected, but not blindly. Like, okay, you said to walk out of this house and leave all my stuff behind and just pack my cats up in my Honda. Okay, and do it. I never thought, but I had to do it to understand from my journey, because my whole life, I every step I took was to breathe life into everybody else, and I always felt shortchanged, and it's no dig on anybody else because people only meet us where they're at, but I stayed around way too long, whether it was in relationships, friendships, even in my own family. Like, I was like, when people started to come to me and tell me that my family paid them to keep an eye on me or to date me, or when I started noticing
That's
things
the
happening, I
worst.
was like, I was then starting to wonder, well, if I'm this crazy ex drug addict with this horrible attitude and can't keep a job, even though I've worked and lived on my own since I was 18, if I'm this horrible person, then why is everyone bothering me so much? Like, and that's what it actually, I did the opposite. Like, I must be really powerful. I don't know what that means yet.
Hmm.
And so I'm grateful that I understood to do the opposite of everything. You know what I'm saying? The opposite of every thing I did, and it still doesn't make sense to most people. But what I know
No,
now is that um there's like no turning back now. There's no, because
no,
now, like we were
absolutely not.
kind of saying earlier, I think in when we were messaging too, it was like it wasn't until I started cutting people off and walking away that I noticed what my energy was and how much people project, because I did it too, project
Yes,
their own insecurities. Like, I really realize now, if I have a negative thought about someone, I stop myself right then and there. I'm like, okay, what about them reminds me of myself? What inside of me is that person triggering that I need to heal? Because I am so aware now how my energy really does change things. And
absolutely.
and that's why I actually started, I kept getting messages from spirit to do Reiki and all that. And so I started, it took me a while to get to it, but I mean, because I was so fascinated with how like energy works. And um most people who are in my situation would have experienced would be just sad and depressed. Like, I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Same.
And it's
It's
because the
like I,
energy, I feel so light. Like, it's like as soon as someone starts gossiping about someone or talking about something negative, I feel like I'm a SpongeBob, that meme, like I'm a head out. You know what I'm saying? Like, being negative and talk about people. It's more than just gossiping. It's just like staying stuck in that negative cycle where you're always talking about something negative and not even realizing it. Not even like
yeah,
always complaining about stuff. Like, I didn't realize I was like that. And it was hard not to be, because all my clients, I mean, the type of work that I've done my whole life was people who've been in crisis, who have been, they're the worst part of their life. You know what I'm saying? And they're in that mindset. And when I started waking up, I started to notice how my therapy with clients changed and how I couldn't do social work anymore because of the energy. Like, I had to be that's why I've turned down a couple jobs already. I can't energetically, I'm so aware. I thought if I just, got some black stones and took some pink, yarrow to help
yeah,
protect my
no.
energy and just cleanse, it would do it. And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
it's energetically, it weighs me down. And even doing the cleansing, I was spending at least 2 hours a day in preparation and after work cleansing my energy and space. I'm like, that's 2 hours of my day. Like,
It got, yeah, it got so bad for me when I was working in the salon because I'm physically touching people.
oh
And
yeah,
I'm already so damn sensitive. And then I'm touching them. And I'm touching them not for, a few moments. You know how long it takes to do hair? It's
oh yeah.
hours.
And you're
Hair
at
and
the
makeup,
crown. You're
especially.
like the most important. You're at the crown. So you're feeling all that crown. I never thought
I'm like,
about
God, I
that.
can't do this anymore.
I never thought, that's why I started taking pain pills the wrong way when I was doing hair. I
That shit will
never,
drive you
I never thought
crazy.
about that. Girl, I never even put that together.
Yeah. And see, when I was doing beauty school, I was very not healed. I was very
Oh, me
wounded.
either. It was the 90s.
And one of the girls that I was there with, she
I
was a
didn't know that.
Reiki master. And she's like, um, you shouldn't touch people right now. And I look at her like completely baffled. Like, why shouldn't I touch people? She
Wow.
goes, your energy is absolutely atrocious. She goes, it's so painful when you touch me that I want to cry, Rain. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And so that gave me a complex all
Wow.
through cosmetology school. I'm like, I'm spreading bad energy. I'm a horrible person. Like,
Right?
I had a mental breakdown about it.
Didn't
And
even
she
realize it was
finally
other
was the
people's
one that's
energy you
like,
were
you need to
pulling.
take Reiki.
Is that what it was? That you were actually, like we were talking about, you're actually pulling their energy out and then it became yours? Not
I
knowing.
think
I
it
mean,
was a
I'm not
mix
saying you
of,
didn't have that energy
yeah,
as
I
well,
think
but
it
you
was a
think that you're
mix.
pulling theirs out too.
Yeah, it had to be because I was moving energy before I knew what moving energy was. I just
Right.
didn't have the terminology to go with it. But yeah, a lot of that was my own shit too that I hadn't worked through because
Well,
I was
yeah.
still very anxious and codependent. But I'm sure a lot of that was theirs. And but she's the one that told me, she's like, go to Reiki. Let's take Reiki one. And I'm like, okay. I was really hesitant, but I did it. And it came in handy when I had a broke neck. And
Yeah.
then after that, I was like, oh, this shit actually works.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me go and get certified completely.
And I've saved my money for my Reiki too. I only want to take it from the guy that I get Reiki from. And I only want to take it from him. Like, I don't, there's another place here, but there, and like I said, there's certain, in the spiritual community, things are certain connected. And I energetically only want to take it like from him in person. And he doesn't, I mean, he's able to do it, but I don't know when the place is going to offer it. I'm like, I want to get the second one because on actually Mother's Day, the open shelter's doing a thing for the mothers and I'm offering like free Reiki. Um, like for the moms, for the mothers that come in for Mother's Day. But I've been trying to get my second one because I really want to practice it. I mean, it's so powerful and so healing for people.
It is. It's truly magical, and I love the fact that we have the internet. I absolutely love it. I feel distant. And Reiki works no matter if it's distant or not. But for me as a practitioner, there is just something special about actually laying
Yep.
hands on the body, gritting the body in crystals, really
Yep.
working with that energy so I can put mine in there and we can just start
Yes.
recalibrating everything like it's
Right.
supposed to be and get people out of this pain. A lot of people walk around with physical pain and they don't realize it's associated with stuck emotions in their body.
Yeah.
There's stuck
Trauma.
energy there. And my mom, she has no clue about what I do. And I've been working on her knee. And so now she'll ask me, she's like, can you do some work on my knee? Because, it's hurt a little bit. I'm
Oh,
like, oh.
good.
But she's so scared of the shadow work. I don't think she'll ever work through the shadows. But
Yeah.
at least I can keep her comfortable and out of pain for
Right.
temporary.
Right.
But again, that stuff doesn't really, like, you can do Reiki, and yes, you can get out of pain with Reiki and realign and attune yourself. But that shit's going to jumble back up if you're not
Yeah.
doing the inner work.
Right. It's a tool to help alleviate the symptoms of more inner healing, like childhood or trauma healing. Like I know, like I pinched my sciatica years ago in a yoga class, like just flipping a table over to set a table up. And it was fine until COVID. And I noticed during COVID, it got triggered really bad. And it's not as bad as it used to be. And I'm like, I know, and it's on my right side. So that's my father's side. So I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
know there's something, and I have to look. I forget what the lower back's associated with. I know there's all kinds of, and I'm like, I know I have trauma that I need to heal from it. You know what I'm saying? Now, Reiki with me, like, it really helps with my chakras open up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've never experienced the guy that I go to. He's this younger. I mean, I'm surprised. Like, he's a younger guy. Him and his wife are like really nice. And it's like, I always like, because before the session, like, I don't have a lot of experience with getting it from people, but he always would ask, what my intention was, if there's anything I wanted to focus on or whatever. And whether I share with something or not, when I lay down, it's like my visions and meditation are exactly what he was feeling. Like one time I like felt like all of a sudden I felt my heart blocking him. Like, no, like I got real afraid of his energy at first. An old thought came in, and I like, like, no, spirit said it's okay, whatever. And like when, we were done with the session, we talked about it, and he could feel every single thing. And that's when I was like, and that was the first session. And I was like, I'm hooked, because I could actually feel, I can, when someone's energy is actually pure and their energy is taken care of, you can really, I mean, the stuff that he unblocked, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be that great. Like, like, the powerful, like you were saying, being able to use that source energy and move blockages for people and move, it really helps, I think, open our body and spirit up to do more healing work. But like you said,
It really
it'll
does.
build up.
And I don't like to bash practitioners, but I'm going to touch on what you just said.
Mhm.
Because I see a lot of people, especially on this app, that are moving energy. And because I've been isolated, because I have dedicated the past 7.5 years to energy healing, and I've made myself that sensitive, it gives me a headache. They're moving darkness and they don't even realize that what they're doing is transmuting darkness from themselves, their own shit. They're not channeling energy, they're transmuting their darkness and you're picking it up.
Yep.
And I'm like, that is so fucking toxic.
Yeah.
Like,
And if someone
if
doesn't know
that, some
their
people don't have a glow
energy,
to them, I can't. I can't.
right. And just think, if there's people, a lot of people, oh, look, I even use the app, that don't even, like we were talking about, don't even know their own energy. So when they're watching this, that's why I'm very mindful of the people I watch. If I all of a sudden get a
Yeah.
weird feeling, or if I have any question about any creator or anything, I get my little pendulum out, lay my phone down, and I put my pendulum on my phone to tell me, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And so I'm very mindful, like they're reading. Like, of course, obviously I watch you, and there's like Sev Healing. There's that's it. And there's one other female, Empress D, I believe. Maybe one lady, but I'm very funny about like who I even do it through the screen, because I've noticed that too. Like I got really sick
Hmm.
after I forget. I'm not going to call anybody out, but I forget which person it was, because I actually unfriended them, because like when I watched like one of their Reiki videos, I got sick. I literally got sick. Um,
Yeah, I've had that experience happen to me where it's
that's
like
weird.
all of a sudden, like my whole entire body just is acting crazy. And I'm like, I just watched this one video. And then that's when I realized, okay, this is something I need to be super cautious of.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And
I'm
I
getting a
want to like inform other people, but not in a way to bash other people's businesses because I know we all have to start somewhere, you know?
right. Sorry, girl. I'm getting this weird notification on this phone. I don't drag the puzzle pieces together. I'm sorry. I have to drag these and put them together for what? Okay, they said they were going to end the live in 50 seconds if I didn't drag these two puzzle pieces together.
What the
I'm like,
hell?
why is there a fucking test? I hate I hate puzzles. I am like, that would never be fun for me to put a puzzle together. And here I am trying to make this fun.
Put these pieces together? No click
I was
together?
like, I can't. I was like, what am I doing? Oh, I cracked
They make you
myself
do
up.
a puzzle so they know you're not sleeping.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember when TikTok started,
Oh,
people would
thank
sleep
you.
on here.
Well, they're gonna give me anxiety attack. Like I was like, what?
Right?
Why do you have to challenge me at every turn? Thank you for that. Like, oh, of course I'm not sleeping. Oh my god, that's so
They should
funny.
know by our like mouths. There's
I mean,
volume going.
oh my god, that was so funny. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I just started like, I thought instead of arrow, and I thought I just had to slide my fingers. I'm like, what? Why are you ending my life? I'm trying to slide the screen. I'm like, oh, there's two puzzle pieces. Oh god, that's funny to me.
I've never heard of that before.
You
But then
either.
again,
I'm
I don't
like,
ever go live
you
that
tell this is
often.
our
So
first. We're both of us are, virgins at this. Are you shuffling cards? Oh, I
my
thought.
guilty
Oh, I
pleasure.
thought.
I've got to stop drinking these damn things, but I
I can't even
swear I'm
see it because I
addicted.
can't make the square any bigger. So I
Oh,
can't.
it's Diet Coke.
Oh, is that wrong with it?
I don't I feel I know it's not good for me, and I'm trying to be like on a health kick here lately, but that
Well,
is my
just don't drink a
advice.
two
Like,
liter. Give yourself a break.
girl, but once you pop, you can't stop. It's like a damn
Listen,
Pringles.
listen. There's no judgment here.
It's like, Lord, I need some more energy, and you're not providing all the energy I need, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
take it into
I
my
was
hands
trying
and
to
add
stare at
some
the sun
caffeine.
earlier, but it was cloudy today, and I was like, because I get all my energy from the sun. I literally just stand. People I live in there, they think I'm about this every morning, like this, pulling in the sun. Usually that's where I get energy, but I mean, I've been like really kind of like dragging. So
Well, it's just, we've had like a whole lot of energy with this solar eclipse. A lot of energy moving. And then the Schumann resonance went like 47%, my phone said right before we went on live. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be hell tomorrow when it finally processes through.
right,
It's
you
like, this
said
is going to be great.
some people are weird. The fact. Oh yeah, listen, I don't know what side of TikTok I got on. But I know how it started. I know where that cord went. So I got stuck on this live where they do these big scoops of crystals and stuff. And I don't know
Oh,
what it is. I just
yeah.
like I got really I don't know what, but it was just so relaxing, just like to watch the scoops. I never bought them or anything. Then all of a sudden, it was another different, country. I don't know where. I don't know where's up. This lady is in a mud pit, and she's like begging people not to give her pumps or something because this big water thing was getting ready to fall on her. I'm like, what? I don't know what TikTok I got on, but I'm like, maybe that's what it is because I've seen those people just sit in those videos. Just looking like this, waiting for people to like give them money or I guess whatever they do. So that would make sense. But so people
I
just
don't
fall
see how
asleep.
people
I
can
don't want
come
no one to
on
see me
lives and
sleep.
sit and talk to themselves for hours. I have to have like another human to interact with. I mean, I know there's people in the chat, but like they don't reply back fast enough to keep the conversation going. So I just be staring like that too. Like,
Yeah, like this.
hi, waiting for somebody to type something out.
Mm-hmm. No, that's. They always have to create something for a reason, so that makes complete sense. I mean, there's always a warning because somebody did something to make it happen.
I commend the people who get on here and go to sleep though, because back when the pandemic was going on, there were people that would leave the live on like 24 hours a day, and I'm like,
Really? See,
their
I didn't even
energy
get
had
on
to be
TikTok. I
disgusting.
worked through the whole COVID, so I was working like 15-hour days and full PPEs.
Girl, during COVID, I had a broke neck, so I was hanging myself with a traction thing, like
Oh my god,
a
that would.
noose around my head for relief.
Well, I
The
guess.
doctor gave me that thing and was like, "You just hang yourself over the door." And I looked at him like, "Are you like serious?" And it was the only thing that gave me relief, so I was constantly hanging myself on the door.
Oh my god, that would have been horrible. I mean, luckily, I mean not luckily it was
Girl,
COVID,
it
but
was
no one
funny. It
else. At
was a
least no one else
laughable
was having
situation.
fun. I could imagine. Like I
Girl, let
like
me go
you just
hang
had to like
myself.
lean over the door. Like how? What do you mean? Like
Okay, so like there was a water bag that hung over the door, and then like this pulley thing that you put around like your neck, so it like basically took all the pressure off your head, and it
okay.
felt so good. But then it's like the fact that I'm hanging myself because it literally went around your neck, and I'm like, I'm
Oh
going through a healing journey and I have trauma. Like this is bringing back some past life shit I
wow.
don't want to revisit right now, but I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but hanging yourself with a broken neck works.
Well, I'm gonna have to
For
keep that
anybody who,
noted.
you know,
Duly noted. I'll make sure I
passing through, got a broke neck, go hang yourself.
be careful.
Please don't
True.
ban me, TikTok. Please don't
Oh,
ban me. It sounds worse than it is. It was a very,
right.
very, very, very
Uh,
beautiful time.
right. How long ago? Oh, that was during COVID. You
But
said so.
yeah, it was during COVID. I had just given birth 2 weeks. It was the first time I drove. I got into that car crash.
Shut.
I had two kids in the car. And I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Everything is closed. My kids couldn't go to school. That was a real test.
Oh my God. Yeah, you
I felt
definitely.
like I got like some like armor warrior badge during that
You
time
got, hold
period.
on,
I'm like,
where my
I need a
little,
medal guide for this
here.
shit.
Hold on. Here's some coins.
Yes.
You're like Super
I'm like, I
Mario
earned
Bros.
my stripes
You're
with
probably
this
like,
one.
I deserve something really big after dealing with this stuff. That was my earring.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm like, it
that's
wasn't even me either. I'm like, I
wow.
deserved a little bit of karmic backlash, but all of that was a little much.
Yeah, that was a little excessive. That escalated way too quickly.
But
But that
then,
was
like,
that.
it gave me that awareness of, like, because when I first started, like, magic back in, God, before I knew what healing and magic and all was, I would do spell work, like love spells.
Mm.
Somebody pissed me off, I'd, put
Oh,
their
so you had
asses
a
in a
little debt to
jar.
pay.
So I'm like, yeah, and that was karma.
Yep. Hmm.
Learn my lesson, though. Learn my lesson. Now I'm just
Yep.
like, Lord, you can do better at the karma delivery than me, so I'm gonna leave it up to you.
Right, right. Like I'm like I've experienced like what it feels like to get something back tenfold. Like I'm good. Like that's kind of
Yeah, you
kept
ain't
me.
got to
I'm like,
worry about me. You do not have to
you know
worry
what?
about
I
me.
have so much energy, and that's honestly, I think that's a true testament of people like us when you know you have the power, you know you have the capability because you've lived in the dark. That's how
Yep.
we found the light. You have the capability of ruining things for people, but because we've done our healing, not no one's perfect, but because we really understand how karma works, it's like I'd rather harness that, use that energy I have into something positive, into developing myself, or doing something for the greater good, because all that's going to do is waste my energy on something that wasn't meant for me anyway, whatever it was. And then I'm going to get shit returned for it. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. Like there's nothing
Yeah, it's
good.
gonna
I
bite you
mean,
in the ass multiple times.
right. And I don't judge anybody or for the practice. Like I respect everybody's practice. As long as it's consensual, people get consent and, like, but I don't judge anybody for what they do. I just know for me, I've already fucked around and found out and I'm good. Like
One too
and I've
many
already
times. I'm
seen it
like,
happen to other
I
people
got
who've
it.
done it to me. Like I'm telling you what, listen to this. The old boss that I used to work for, that I subcontracted for, um, I prophesized and made his company a lot of money. And I told him, I'll give you a year. We'll see how you treat me after a year. And then we'll revisit this because he was worried about me leaving the company. Made a lot of money. He breadcrumbed me. He was a narcissist. It was like the typical cycle, right? Well, and I told him, just like I told everybody else, I don't believe in doing black magic on people. However, let me tell you that if anybody who's done me dirty, whatever you do to me, it will come back to you times. It's not going to be good for you. I don't wish it on you. I'm just telling you what's happened in the past. And like
Yep.
everybody, they don't believe me. He didn't believe me because he was a Freemason and they're very elite. And they were taking trips. Well, after a year, my raise was like only $30 a month. And they were billing Medicaid like 150 an hour for my service and only paying me 50 an hour as a subcontractor. So I had to do my own taxes. So they were making more an hour than me. And Spirit told me, I told you not to take this job anyway because you got sick and people put a voodoo doll on you and all these horrible things happened to you. You got to go. And so I left without a plan. But not even a month later, and they screwed me out of my last check. The month later, their Airbnb that brought them in 4 grand a month got shut down for being racist. And I was like, I didn't wish it on anybody. However, if you would have just gave me my raise and been honest with me, like I told you from the get go, just be real. I can breathe life into anything I touch. You will make a lot of money. Just do right by me. Don't get greedy. And because you
Yep.
did, now you're lost. Not just an employee and all the contracts I had, but you also lost your Airbnb. I'm laughing about it now just because it's the irony of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen karma happen. I'm like, I can't afford that anymore. I used to be a booster back in the day, and I would always wonder why my favorite pair of jeans would get ripped or something bad would happen. Well, because I used to boost shit for people. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it comes back, and so
I learned that with my last ex, like, not to retaliate, because any other time a man would piss me off, again, I throw that ass in a jar, and whatever demon I could summon or conjure, that's what we were doing. Like,
mhm.
make him pay. And I started my healing journey. we broke up 3 years ago. So it was 2.5 years ago I've been steady on healing, but there was a lead up to it. And the lead up to it was God was like, don't you say anything about this man. He is going to bash your character online and you remain silent. And that's not in my character to remain
Right.
silent. I am loud, I am boisterous. I want to fight, like
Right.
physically fight. And I felt so strongly in that conviction, that message, don't retaliate. And a year went by and nothing happened. And at this point, I'm in deep in my healing journey. He calls me and he's like, I lost my job. I'm getting evicted out of my house and they repoed my car.
Sounds like a country song.
Girl, I can't make this shit up. I was like, Lord. And then that's when I got a dream that the God's like, get your popcorn and watch this shit go
I
down.
love it.
So I got my popcorn, and every day he's calling to check on his son, and he's telling me all this stuff, and I'm over here just eating my popcorn. It got so bad that I was like, God, make it stop. Like, okay, you've done enough.
Right,
Like,
right, like, right.
just
Pump your
stop.
brakes,
Because,
God. Pump your brakes. Your ancestors are
yeah,
getting too
and he's
happy.
just now recovering from all that. And it's been 3 years.
Yeah,
I'm like, you did it better than I could. Thank you, Lord, for that
right.
karmic repay, and then letting me get a front row seat to watch it go down.
Right, exactly. A lot of times we don't get front row seats, but and like I never wish ill on one because I know what that feels like. But um I think I did a message maybe about a week ago. Like I've been feeling it for the longest time, not just for myself, but collectively for a lot of people who have really suffered a lot because of people who've done those, who've done those, whatever they've
Mm-hmm.
done to them, and the people who've chosen not to use their gifts for the darkness because the reward is so much better. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's the reward is just so much better when you just let karma play out because like, energy doesn't lie. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't lie.
Energy does not lie. But you want to know what's even more fucked up is people think that you have to do black magic to send negative energy. And
No. Mm-mm.
it wasn't until I have this one friend, I love her to death, but she likes to talk about people. She likes to gossip and she likes to judge. And that's her program, it's her indoctrination. It's not my job to fix her.
Right.
But I'm very aware of what she's throwing out. And she wonders why her life is the way it is. And I'm like, all you do is talk shit about everybody. You
Right.
judge and shame because it's not what you're doing. Because she's got a limited
Yeah. And she has
perspective.
unhealed trauma. She was
And she's
projecting,
young. Yeah, she's got all this stuff. And I'm
projecting,
like,
and yeah, it lowers
but
your
I've seen that
vibration.
energy. It's the same energy flow as if
Yeah.
you're doing black magic, just
Yeah.
putting that out
Same
there.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, people don't
So I
even
tell people,
realize
I
it. They're
said, just
like,
speaking ill will on people is spell work, spelling. That's what
yep,
spelling is. That's what words are. It's spell casting. It's like, it doesn't mean
yep.
you're like, have this little cauldron and you're like, and put all these herbs and spices
and and
together and
and you try
put
to
blood and
explain
dirt.
that though to people that don't understand energy or
Right.
healing, and they're just like, no, not my thoughts. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I check myself because there was a time where I would scroll on Facebook and somebody would post a couple's picture, and relationship trauma is my big thing. And
Right.
I get so damn triggered by a happy couple picture.
Yep.
And I'm like, instead of getting triggered, ask yourself why you are so triggered by somebody else
That part.
posting their happy marriage.
Right. That
And
part.
it's because
That's
I
the
didn't have
healing.
one of my own. I was being a bitter bitch.
Right. We've all like that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It hurt my feelings. I'm like, why did they get so many and I'm over here by myself? And God's like, well, you got a
You're in your
purpose.
fifth
Like, you have
husband
a
this
lot of work
year,
to do.
Linda.
Yeah, right?
I can't even get a date on plenty of fish. Like,
Girl, I can't even make it past a week talking to somebody before they piss me off. And I'm like, I'm
I
done.
don't. That's why I'm like, I don't even.
That's
I'm.
not for me. That's not for me.
Yeah. I'm like, I
Next.
don't even have the time. I'm like, I have. No, I mean, I'm literally living in someone's basement without a job. I'm definitely not dating material right now. Like, you don't want to. Like for me, I'm like, listen, this is not what you want. Like people try to hit on me, I'm like, trust me, you don't want all this right now. You wouldn't know what to do with it. Like because I'm not a damsel in distress. I don't want no one to come and save me. I'm not going to go
Yeah.
live in someone's house and play house and do all that to be so I can be put in the same fucking position. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah,
so
no,
yeah,
I can't do the pass, and I'm finally. It took a while to get here because
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like being Italian really played a big part in the fact of my need for wanting a partner
yeah,
because Italian women, they cook for their husbands, they clean for their husbands.
yeah. For
I mean, they're a
caretakers.
yeah. And I've been doing that, and I'm over here like, where's the husband? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, where's that? And I don't know.
That's why spirit's
Eventually
like,
it'll
do that
happen.
for yourself.
Right. And so I'm like, I've been taking myself out on dates and buying myself flowers and doing all of the
Yay.
things that I had wanted to do with other people, except my YouTube channel. Because I've been waiting. I'm like, God, I'm bucking on this one. I'm not doing a damn YouTube channel until you get me a person to go on adventures with. I'm like, maybe sometime this year.
It'll be within 18 months.
Hopefully.
It'll be within
I feel
18
like
months.
it's got it because there's so many divine feminines who have been on this journey for about the same amount of time that we've been on,
Hmm.
and all of us have pretty much the same down. Like we know that there's somebody out there for us. It's just they haven't made their way to us, or we haven't unblocked that pathway, like you said, to run into them in an
Right.
event that we would normally be at.
Yeah, we need to get
Because
out of our own
I
way.
don't
Like
go
we're the ones that
anywhere.
are that, and I
How
think
does an
more. I think
introvert
more
find another
divine.
introvert?
Yeah, and I think more. There's more divine counterparts are waking up too. I think there's more um opposite sex, same sex, whatever. Regardless, people are interested. I think more and more people are waking up, and there's more talk, like especially with divine masculine and what that is versus not, and divine feminine. I think there's more of an understanding now, and so I think the pool's getting a little bigger.
I think the masculines have had a harder time tapping into their feminine energy
Oh
than
yeah.
us females tapping into our masculines because we're in a primarily masculine dominant
Yeah, well, a lot
society.
of us had to do that
Um,
too. Have a
yeah,
good night.
and then
Thank you.
love you, thank you. Um, hurts. Whereas men don't get to tap into that as much. I
Right.
don't believe,
Yeah, I think there's a safe
or
space, to have a safe space to even explore that.
and their egos because they've been programmed like this is how a man behaves, this is what a man
Right.
does. But the women and the men from back when they were programmed are not the same men and women that are out here today. And
Right.
we're healed, we're healing, we're aware, and
Right.
we realize that the shit that used to go on doesn't work. It hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So what do we do now, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I'm like trying not to focus on, but I'm like, okay, spirit, I'm 49.
Like
I,
at
I
some
I
point,
only have
like,
two cats. If I get one more, then I'm technically a cat lady. So I'm holding off on getting any more cats. You know what I'm saying? Like,
um
but I've been in relationships my whole life, so like I'm really enjoying loving me for the first time. 'Cause I've never really been loved before. I've never, I don't know, I've never felt it before, and so it's like now I'm just like having a ball. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and now you know what to compare that person to when they do come in,
right,
because at this point we've been alone for years, and
right,
while it may have been tumultuous at times, there's still this peace there, and there's this love within that hasn't been there before.
right.
They got to match that shit, and I have
Oh
not
yeah,
found anybody that can match it. They're in their own trauma at this
yeah.
point. A
Not
lot
even
of the divine
close.
masculines are trying to figure it out, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I'm in no, I'm not trying to be anybody's mama. I'm not trying
Mm-mm.
to. I mean, I have no problem. Us, I want, my divine. partnership, I want it to be a balance wherever I may need, I have some struggles in or other areas. Not that I want anyone to fix it, but to balance it out and not always like lead the way and be in my masculine energy. I want to be able to be in my feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can
Right.
balance them both out, but you know, um, yeah,
I think there's a point too where there is a need for solo healing, but then there's also a need for reintegration to society healing.
right.
And I think that's what we're doing as we're building friendships. But friendships and romantic are two totally different
Yep.
things, or are they? I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to
Right.
figure that out.
That's
Because
true.
I notice I can talk to people, men or women, and I'm fine. But as soon as I feel that energy switching to that sacral chakra, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? No, I'm scared. And
Back
I feel myself
right.
literally, my body's like going into fight or flight mode over a dude. And I'm like, okay, we still got some work to do around relations.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very
Because a man
relatable.
shouldn't have that effect on me, especially if somebody likes me. Like, why am I freaking out about it?
Right.
Because I don't know what to do. I think that's really. And how do you tell somebody that? Like, I'm really bad at relationships.
Yeah, you may
Just
not
start
want
with
to lead
that.
with that.
Hey,
I wouldn't lead with that.
I feel like maybe I should, because I always lead with my good qualities, and then they see the bad, and then they're like, maybe I should just lead with the bad. And if they make it through that round,
Don't
then
manifest
they
it.
can see the angelic side.
Right.
But honestly, I don't know what to do. I feel like a deer in headlights when it comes to romantic relationships.
Yeah, I don't like I'm like okay right now. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like someone drove like was parked beside me on the road, the light, and I looked over and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey," like that. Like I can't even say hi, so I'm good. Like
It's so bad that I didn't recognize that somebody was flirting with me. My brother had to point it out.
really?
We were at a wrestling event, and this guy just started talking to me, and I'm over here having a conversation, and he's like, you do realize that dude was flirting with you? And I said, do you realize that dude is young enough to be my son? Like, no. And he was belligerently
Well,
drunk. I'm like, ew. It
yeah.
was flattering he was 21, but I didn't even know he was hitting on me. So I mean, I couldn't even bask in that little bit of
Right, right. Like I didn't even know
validation.
if we were just having a conversation. Yeah.
I'm like, damn, my brother had to tell me. That's bad. But yeah, I don't know. And then I don't ever get hit on in public, but I don't ever go anywhere.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, I do, but they're like guests that come into the open shelter. I mean, so it's like,
And you're like, they're working on their shit.
yeah, I'm like, listen, two people, both of us, fucking shit up is not gonna work. Like,
Right. I'm
no.
like, somebody just meet me on the level, somewhere
Right.
close. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
someone has to have the same or similar path as me spiritually. Like that's like I know I'll never be able to be in a connection in a romantic connection with anybody who's not on a spiritual path. Like that's just not.
Right.
I'm not going to explain
Absolutely.
myself to anybody. I'm not, what I'm saying, like my practices and trying to, not fight for it, but I mean to I'm not making myself small anymore. And I had a tendency to do that in relationships sometimes, especially on my spiritual side because of how it was seen. And I'm like, I'm just not doing that anymore. Like that's me. You know what I'm saying? That's my walk now. I don't turn it off. Like it's when I go to
I
work,
know a lot
when I
of
go to the
men
gas
want to
station, like it's me.
experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, they want to experience spiritual women to have that experience. What they don't realize is that's opening a whole lot of Pandora's box, especially people that are in their divinity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I just don't even. I know when I know my divine counterpart, it'll flow. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I feel like it's gonna happen like when I least expect it, and then I'm gonna just stand there probably for months and be like, "Is this real?" And
Right.
pinch myself. I'm used to being solo. But then the thought of sharing my space with somebody kind of creeps me out. I'm like, this is my stuff. Like, I don't want to share my closet. Ew. Or
Well,
have like
just
nasty
just
like
meet them. Just
shavings
meet
and
them
stuff.
first.
I'm like, maybe I can like program a relationship where we can get two houses next to each other and he could just go home.
You can get one of those old ranch homes where they have the garage, but like the walk through to the garage, you just add an addition to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That way, like the
Yeah, it's
meeting
like,
space could be like the kitchen.
right?
Own
You go back to your
refrigerators,
side of the house now.
own
I'm done.
own snack cabinets. You know what I'm saying? You
But do
got your
you,
dude's
okay, I want to
den. I
ask
got
this.
my, witchy cave or whatever.
On a real note, do you have a time frame when you hang out with people? It doesn't matter if they're spiritual or not, but where you're like, okay, I'm done peopling. My energy is depleted. I can't take anymore. I gotta go.
Yep, every time is different.
See, I've got mine's 4 hours. I've not been able to make it past anything 4 hours, and
Oh, I'm
I've
lucky to
got to
do
go
about
in 20 minutes.
an hour, hour and a half. It just depends. Like I'm usually like I'm out of here. Like, and you know what's amazing? And I'm gonna put myself out there. You just asking that. I just looked at the time. Like it's 10:38. How long have we been doing this?
I do that all the time. Anytime I'm going
I
anywhere in
swear.
public,
And
I'm like,
it was like this. I love, but see, I love.
I wonder how long this is going to take. I get it. I get it.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm
I'm
saying.
around
Where do
people.
introverts find other introverts on the internet?
I mean, I'm like, I'm doing good for an hour and a half. I'm good. Like, but it gives me energy. It's different when it's people sucking your energy. It's different when it's a even energy exchange. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not someone just like pulling on your energy, asking you questions or trying to get stuff from you and just take, or trauma
Yeah, picking
dumping.
your
You know what I'm saying?
brain.
So it's different.
Yeah, I feel
And
that
even
way too.
Mr.
Because
Beezer says it.
hi, babies.
Say hi,
You're
BZ.
so cute. Hello.
He has a sigh of raw on him. See,
I love that.
I know.
Oh, chunky monkeys.
Yeah, he's the healer. He's the one that gets on your chest. You can feel him pull the energy from you.
I love cats. I wish I could have a cat. My daughter's allergic though. Like
Oh,
she's allergic to everything. I'm like, you poor child. How
oh.
are me and your dad animal lovers, and then you're allergic to literally every animal on
Maybe she'll
Earth?
grab it when she gets older. Sometimes that happens with kids.
I hope so. Well, she's 14 now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And then this is a new cycle for me too. I've had kids for the last 15 years. I've had one every 5 years. And
Oh,
so I'm
wow.
approaching my youngest is about to be 5. And this is the first time I'm not prepping for another child.
Well, that's
So
exciting.
it is exciting. I'm like, I don't want any more kids, but it's also a different transition to know, okay, this is the last time I'm wiping anybody's ass,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But for 15 years, I've been in that cycle. Is just as soon as I get one that's somewhat self sufficient and in school, it's like time for the other one.
Right.
Time. And
Right.
I'm such a hopeless romantic. It's like I've tried to salvage those relationships and
Right.
nothing.
So you're like a
Nothing at
big
all.
transition.
Yeah. So part of me is like, I want a baby again. Another part of me is like, bitch, you are celibate and no man in sight. Like, let's get
I
real.
mean,
And
it
you're
could be the second
41.
coming of Jesus. You just never know.
No, because I need child support, Jesus. It's expensive shit.
Could
If
you
you gonna give me
imagine?
a damn
Could you
holy ass
imagine
baby, you better give me some
putting
money to go with it, baby.
putting Jesus Christ down as the Father? I want to. I'm 49. I don't have any kids, but I tell you right now, I want to have a kid just so I can put Jesus Christ down as the Father.
Cameron Diaz just had one, and she's what, 52?
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's a new thing now. My youngest I had at 38, 37,
yeah. I'm just like
37.
I'm just not really loving myself and enjoying my life. I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to feed anybody else. I can barely feed myself. Maybe different. If it. I've accepted it either way, but um, regardless, I really want to put Jesus Christ down as the daddy, and just to see. I mean,
I feel like I should have put that down for my last one because that was a surprise pregnancy and a very toxic relationship. Jesus should have been the daddy.
right.
But speaking of that and energy,
Oh,
So
you said
when I
that's
was
funny.
pregnant, I always felt my babies. Like, and when I birthed them, I didn't feel their energy anymore. And that was really
Wow,
tricky
that's
for me.
interesting.
But I hated being pregnant every single time. I was like, I couldn't wait get this baby out of me, like I want my body back, because I felt their energy like
Wow, that's
taking over
crazy.
my energy. And then when I had them, it was like this loss, because now that energy is with their body, and of course I'm by it, but it being in me is totally different than it being beside me.
That's interesting.
And I never felt that with my first two, but my last one, it was very prevalent. And I went through the cycle where I'm like, this is sad, like I miss that energy.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting.
But I think he saved my life, because my gallbladder was failing while I was pregnant, and they were going to schedule after the C-section to take my gallbladder out. And the doctor, after I had him, oh, speaking of, you okay? Oh, you're running fever. Oh,
Oh,
oh, I'm sorry, baby. Well, I may have to cut this short because I gotta go
that's
to
fine. I'm
sleep
gonna
for
head
the
out.
day.
Thank you to everybody who's
I
joined.
love
Or
you.
love you, honey. Be well. Get the baby out.
You want to get you some Tylenol?